we are getting our first look at a Republican proposed map for a mid-cycle redistricting of Texas that would help them pick up more seats in the next midterm election in 2026. Candidly, this map is brutal for Democrats, and I will walk you through all the changes in a second. First, let's take a look at the current situation in Texas and what is already a heavily gerrymandered map that was used in 2022 and 2024. What I'll do is zoom in on each area of interest, showing first the current map and then the proposed map. This is the current situation in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You can see 3 Democratic districts here, already with some insane lines and gerrymandering going on. The darkest blue is one of our favorites, Jasmine Crockett, and here's the new map. And the new map has only 2 Democrats in the Dallas area. They basically get rid of Rep. Johnson's district, and they do this using a very common technique. They squash as many Democrats as they can into these 2 districts, and then they cut up the rest of the more Democratic urban and suburban areas by blending them with more rural Republican areas of Texas, diluting the Democrats' votes. Next is Houston, where we currently have 4 Democrats. Very similar to what they did in Dallas. We are cutting down 1 Democrat here and creating just 3 blue districts. So 4 Democrats going to 3 Democrats in Houston. Again, same strategy, compact as many Democrats as they can, and then cut up the rest of the urban and suburban area with more Republican rural areas. And the last 2 targets here are these 2 Democratic districts along the Rio Grande Valley. These get changed to this, where they add much more Republican whiter areas to the more heavily Hispanic areas along the Rio Grande Valley to make those districts red as well. Also key to note here, these districts along the Rio Grande Valley have been already trending Republican due to the big shift in the Hispanic vote along the Rio Grande Valley towards Donald Trump in the last 2 Trump elections. So net, this map gets rid of 4 Democrats in Texas and replaces them with 4 Republicans, 1 from Dallas, 1 from Houston, and then 2 from the Rio Grande Valley. This, however, is not the end of the story, as this map is not perfect by any means for the Republicans. The last person to come close to winning as a Democrat in Texas statewide is Beto O'Rourke in 2018 against Ted Cruz. If I take Beto's results and apply them to all the congressional districts in this new map, Republicans only end up picking 1 seat up because they end up losing 3 seats along the Rio Grande Valley, including 1 current incumbent Republican. So with this set of Beto assumptions, Democrats still lose a seat in Dallas and Houston, but end up getting 3 seats in total along the Rio Grande Valley, which means they would only lose 1 seat overall. So if 2026 is anything like 2018 and Democrats are able to go back to previous levels of performance along the Rio Grande Valley, which I think is definitely possible in Texas because Texas is a very low turnout state. And so the more highly motivated group of voters, which hopefully would be Democrats in this upcoming midterm, could have a big advantage. The Republicans do a good job, however, drawing these districts in the suburban areas of Houston and Dallas, because even with these very optimistic set of assumptions for Democratic performance, they aren't able to crack into any of these districts because they've sliced them up amongst so many rural and suburban areas, as you can see above. And finally, as just a little extra bonus, let's take a look at the new districts for Austin and San Antonio, which are very similar to the old districts, as there are 3 Democrats representing these areas. This is a classic gerrymander where you can see to compact as many Democrats as they can into 1 district, they've taken an urban area of San Antonio and a pretty urban area of Austin and drawn a very, very tiny connection between these 2 areas so they can all be in 1 district together. This is a classic gerrymander they've been using in Texas for a while, but just thought you should know about it because it is some very interesting map drawing. This by no means is the final proposal from Republicans, so I will keep watching and seeing if they come forward with any other maps, because there's usually several in play as they go into the legislative session, And often members representing these districts want to have a say in the process too, because they don't want to become more vulnerable to potentially losing their safe seat. So I will let you guys know if there's any updates in this Texas situation, and we'll be following it very closely, as well as potential Democratic redrawing of districts in states like New York, New Jersey, California, and others that are thinking about moving forward with their own mid-cycle redistricting to counter what the Republicans may do in Texas.